Music in the slavery era. Singing, dancing, and instrumental music have been a part of African American culture since the beginning of time. Within slavery times, it became an outlet for slaves to communicate their feelings regarding the hardships that they faced. It became common to mix in some gospel and spiritual aspects into their music, usually asking God to free them or for guidance. Slaves had only other slaves to talk to about their hardships, so singing was a way they spoke their thoughts. Slavery was an extremely harsh period in which Africans were stolen from their country on boats and forced to work. They worked extremely long hours, were beaten, and fed minimal food. It is absolutely incredible that throughout all this, they were still able to make music that can still be heard today. They went through so much, yet they were still able to stay positive within their music. Apart from just their voices in their music, they also had some instruments that they would use. These instruments might include the banjo, drums, fiddle, and the harmonica. This was a way to add a communal aspect to their music, as not everyone wants to sing. This also gave them something to do for themselves and not just for their master. At some point, the slave masters thought that the slaves were using these instruments as a way to escape. They never actually tried escaping using their instruments to communicate. The masters just wanted a reason to take away any joy that the slaves had. But the masters still took away the instruments anyway. The slaves thought of other ways to create music, though. They resorted to things such as hand clapping and feet tapping as another way to make music. They were always able to find ways to sing and speak their hearts. The song I really liked for this topic is Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. This is a well-known African American hymn that presents a beautiful orchestra element. It is mostly an a cappella, which means it is a song that is performed and does not feature any instruments. But towards the end of the song, instruments are introduced and played, hence the orchestra element. The date that this song was written and published is unknown, but from the lyrics, we can assume that it is from the late slavery era. This song has been covered many different times, so the original author is still unknown. The lyrics of the song are immaculate. There is so much meaning and feeling behind it. A favorite lyric of mine is "Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home." I really like to ask myself, what do these lyrics even mean? I think the most likely meaning is a cry out to God, wishing for a chariot to take them home to heaven. In this case, chariot most likely is referring to God, but it could also be an angel. They just wanted to get out, and they didn't care if that meant they made it out alive or not. Most African Americans followed Christianity as the religion at the time. Christianity was very common among slave owners and their families. This was the only religion that the slaves were exposed to, so they followed along. They fell in love with this religion, and even still to this day, it is a bit of a stereotype that African Americans are Christians. Within Christianity, they believe that once you die, you go to heaven, which is described as a magical place. I believe that this is the reason that they want to go to heaven so desperately. This is the only way they will ever get to look forward to in their life. Another aspect of slave music I found fascinating that was around the same time was cotton picking and railroad songs. At the time, these songs were meant to express the anger that the slaves were feeling. The song I found interesting for this section was I Be So Glad When the Sun Goes Down. This song expresses the exhaustion and rage that they were going through. But once the sun goes down, they can finally stop working. This is a somewhat small element of African American music history, but it is very interesting and I wanted to mention it. I really liked being able to venture out and find music for this assignment. It was a lot of fun. I found so much interesting music from the time period that spoke volumes. The instruments were also very fascinating. The slaves went through something no one will hopefully ever experience again. So being able to understand it a little bit better of what they went through can open my eyes and have a greater appreciation for my place on earth. Thank you.